The Vatican has always been a place filled with mystery, intrigue, and its fair share of scandals.
Pronto, pronto, get your half-price holy sandals, left and right foot.
I said scandals, not... never mind. We can make a whole series on the spicier aspects of the papacy, but just to give you a taste, in this episode, we'll take a look at that one time when the Pope was a woman. Yes, this weird story starts in the middle of the 9th century Germany, where a woman by the name of Joan lived. Now, juicy bit, she had a lover, and when he moved to Athens to study theology, she had the clever idea of dressing up as a man and joining him there. Unexpectedly, she excelled in her studies to the point where she overshadowed not just her lover, but all her fellow priests. She eventually caught the eye of Rome, where before long she was teaching liberal arts as cardinal. Thank you very much. Then, upon the death of the current pope, she was unanimously elected to be his successor, all the while maintaining her male facade.
Say goodbye to all that hair waxing.
Indeed, because in her unshaven state for 2 years, Joan would reign over the Catholic world, until she made the truly classic mistake of getting pregnant. Supposedly, she gave birth while riding a horse to the Lateran Palace, and her subsequent fate depends on your preferred source. She was either A, immediately stoned to death, or B, exiled to a remote monastery never to be heard of again, or C, was paid a stack of hush money to relocate to the French Riviera and get identity-changing plastic surgery, which back then was a little rudimentary. In the wake of this scandal, the Church introduced a new ritual to verify that every future pope had the necessary equipment for the job. Now, my friends, if all this sounds just a bit ludicrous, well, that's because it most probably is. While the story of Pope Joan was widely accepted as gospel during the Middle Ages, by the end of the 16th century it was in the process of being debunked. In the wake of the Reformation, where Lutherans and Calvinists used the story of Pope Joan to discredit the Church, pious Catholics wrote passionate essays disproving the legend. Modern scholars agree the earliest record we have of Joan's story is 4 centuries after her supposed reign, and there's no contemporary evidence of her existence at all. So, yes, dear viewers, we at SideQuest have now resorted to retelling fake news as a means of survival. These are truly desperate times.
SideQuest, you're totally fake news. Losers.
But there is perhaps one small grain of truth in this whole ordeal. Around the same time when chroniclers first wrote about Pope Joan, a mysterious woman was preaching in Milan. She was called Guglielmo and claimed to be the daughter of the King of Bohemia. Her version of Christianity was one with a distinctly feminist flavor. She prophesied the impending end of the world, a Christian classic, and her own resurrection as the Holy Spirit incarnate. When she died in 1279, her followers eagerly began preparing for her coming return and for the establishment of her new female-led Christian kingdom, where leaving toilet seats down would indeed become the 11th commandment. But alas, these grand plans were cut short by our dear friends over at the Inquisition, who promptly charged all of the Guglielmites as heretics and burned them to make burned them at the stake. Oh dear. Now, of course, we have no concrete evidence that Guglielmo's story was the inspiration for the legend of Pope Joan, but it does seem like an odd coincidence, don't you think? In any case, if you'd like to watch more videos on similarly obscure historical coincidences, please consider supporting us on Patreon. The Church of SideQuest survives thanks to generous viewers like you, and you, and you, and you. So, thank you for being awesome. You can expect to hear from me again in a couple of weeks, give or take, for the next apostatically sacrosanct episode of SideQuest. In excelsis Deo.
The end.